right, so let us begin. This is the Fustian Gaming Challenge number 300. The entire point of this, I want to say, like, I'm addressing the haters, but, like, I'm not popular enough for people to have complained or anything. But there is, I assume my audience is well aware that it's randomly chosen, but obviously there's no oversight. I mean, if there's a game that I want to play, or if Rob chooses something I absolutely don't want to play, it either doesn't happen or it gets put off or whatever the case. So there is, of course, that. Although, like, for many games like Turok and what have you, I've kind of powered through. But
oh man,
the basic idea here is to do an actual live pick to. Again, I don't even have haters, but to prove that this is actually a random experience. And so with that in mind, I have Beat and Fanboy Master here, who are keeping me honest and also offering color commentary on whatever game happens to get picked. We put together...
I mostly just yell nonsense.
Yeah, yell some nonsense, guys.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying looking at Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelists of the Roses, because I'm so impressed that, like, their idea for first PS2 game based on this card game for children was, what if everyone pretended they were taking part in the War of the Roses?
And Kaibo,
I don't know what the War of the Roses is off the top of my head, but I'm already afraid. All right, so
it had Danny
let's get into this.
Okay, so here the rules for the evening. Technically, I have removed any game that has already been on the FGC. I also removed Xenosaga and Kingdom Hearts and Wild Arms 2 for obvious reasons. And also the games that were covered during Wankery Week because, you know, they're done. But
God,
so we won't get a keep a strip again. Now, beyond that, I didn't really call the list for some of the games I can't play, like Vita or PSP releases. I theoretically could hook up the component PSP, but I absolutely don't feel like that for the sake of a PSP game, because seriously...
The proper thing to do is to, like, just start playing it on your normal PSP, and then just whip out your cell phone camera and stream that
that
your
is
Hitbox.
absolutely not happening. God. And also, for the record, No,
we'll just switch to YouTube Live. That'll do it.
For the record, the streaming PSP that I own is actually a Hannah Montana model, so I'm actually
awesome.
Never going to record that ever. It's bright pink and lovely.
Well, now you have to. I mean, come on.
So,
like think of how flash in the pan that was.
If it came with the Hannah Montana game, which existed somewhere on this list. But anyway, So nothing like that, and also this is sort of the Wii clause, but any games that require excessive movement, DDR, any shooting games or whatever, are just not happening because I'm on a tethered set of headphones here, and just, I don't even know how that would be possible.
Well, that's just a defeatist attitude. If you go, like, dig back into my YouTube archive, you can find me playing Necrodance on a dance pad.
That was great.
I'm not sure if I'm shirtless, but I think I want to say
you were shirtless for at least some of it.
Yeah, that was fun.
I don't think all of it, but at least some of it.
Dear God.
Yeah, that's good times.
So those are the...
Listen, you've never seen them bones.
So those are the basic rules of the evening. Other than that, Beat is going to choose a random number, and assuming it's a game that can actually be played in this fashion, then we're going to play it, and that will be that.
All right, cool.
So,
I'm game.
With that,
so what's my upper limit again?
1,500 something.
It was 1,595.
Okay, wow, that's a lot. Should I just go right now?
Yeah. I mean, just toss a number out there, and then.
All right,
friggin',
I don't know, 8,372. Why not?
That is above 1,595.
Okay, guess what? We're dividing it.
15,000. All right.
1,500.
Let's go with, say, I don't know, 547. Why not?
What are we looking at?
And our winner is Adventure Island 3 for the Nintendo.
Huh.
Okay.
Oh, man.
That could have gone
after,
different direction.
Long after the Wonder Boy divorce.
I think that has dinosaurs in it, so that's good.
It does.
So,
it's basically Jurassic Park.
So, yes, in the interest of admitting wrongs or what have you, this is totally going to be emulated. Because plugging it...
How else did you, like we're not going to expect you to actually go and like hook up your NES to your.
I'm
My
scandalized.
NES is totally hooked up, but it would take like a half hour for it to not be flashing blue screens. So
Yes, that's
just a heads up on that being the case.
Oh man, Star Gladiator! I love Star Gladiator. Sorry, I'm lost in
that
your
it wasn't
list.
something weirder. Like he did that one DVD game, but like actually was just a DVD disc, like that was played for remote.
The hologram time traveler.
Oh, now I see Vector Man 2 at 564. I fucked up. I fucked up bad.
So many other choices.
Look at all these. See the Contra Adventure? That would be suffering.
That would be nothing but suffering.
What is Popable Mail? I have heard that.
It is a Sega CD Falcom action RPG.
Huh.
And it was from Working Designs too, if memory serves.
Well,
Yeah, it was localized by Working Designs.
What is that?
Because Japan.
Okay.
And not bound by your English ideas of how names should work.
It actually looked like kind of like Kendo Rage from today's entry.
Huh.
Like, the thing about it is Sega considered localizing it as Sister Sonic at one point.
What?
Oh, that's where I've heard the name from. It was back in the Sonic HQ days. They had like a big article on Popful Mail, or at least like they mentioned it a bunch of times because they had no idea what they were talking about.
But
this
yeah,
is back
Popful
in the
Mail.
dark ages of internet. Like we're talking like 1999.
Yeah, Popful Mail is a good action RPG. I think it would like suffer, like Beat would die on contact with it, but
Probably.
Sega Saturn bootleg sampler.
Yeah,
I'm curious.
That came with the Sega Saturn if you purchased it.
Nice.
I'm not sure why it says boot. Oh, is it just a bootleg of the sampler?
It's called the bootleg sampler.
Oh,
I think you can actually like look that up or something. It's not just some random thing.
90s. There's some interesting things on this list.
You know what? Is it possible that... Oh, I know. Wait. Is that... Huh. You know what? I somehow don't think I have the ROM for Adventure Island 3.
Time to pick a new number.
So I think we've got a... let me just do one more look, because I'm not completely insane. I mean, that seems like something that would be in your pretty traditional list, but, I mean, like, it's very rare that I go looking for ROMs since it isn't, like, 1996 anymore.
Yep. All right, we're gonna do another number then, because
Yeah.
I don't give...
I wasn't that excited about Adventure Island 3 anyway, so there you go.
Same. Let's go with, I don't know, 942.
Oh, I'm in suspense.
And the answer is... Oh, Etrian Mystery Dungeon. That's like really
Okay, well that's not streamable.
No, it actually is.
The DS game?
Oh yeah, I have a
guess.
3DS that was blessed by a wizard that I killed, and I am able to stream from it.
Oh, you have one of those crazy things. All right, sure, let's do this shit.
It's watching a roguelike is the problem.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, for anyone listening, I'm going to be putting these games on the actual list. They'll be like 301, 302. Let's do something that isn't going to bore me to death.
Same.
Yeah, we want something that's at least photogenic.
How about 219?
Beat's very good at number.
I'm an accountant.
Oh,
Jack.
fuck you, Beat.
Oh, I'm already excited. What was it? Oh, tell me.
Are you looking?
I'm looking,
it
but
hasn't
like,
shown off
it's
quite
30
yet.
second delay, dude. Just tell me.
Oh, well, I will just let you take a moment then. Just to keep you in
boy.
suspense.
Oh boy. This is the big moment. This is everything I've ever wanted.
What?
Is it there yet? No.
No, now it's like in the 2000 range. What are you
No, it's
doing?
1200. He said 219, and you put 1219.
Oh.
Oh.
That
You
is
can
a
do it, Digimon
really
World Data Squad,
horrible,
that's
horrible
fine.
thing, though. Digimon World Data Squad is a mean one to end up on.
No. What was 219? Let's play by the rules here. Let's
Okay,
be by-
219. I misheard. 219. Oh, Resident Evil Code Veronica.
Oh.
Yeah.
Shit, all right.
Yeah. Okay. I think I can
This
do
game well.
Dreamcast here.
I'm secretly glad we didn't pick Etrian Odyssey, but I'm also secretly mad we didn't go with Etrian Odyssey.
Don't worry, it'll show up.
But they're both for the same reason. And that is, I hate the Etrian games with fire and passion. And Talking Time
even the main
loves
Etrian
those
game.
games. Talking Time cannot get enough of that shit. And it just pisses me off so bad.
But that's Etrian Mystery Dungeon. It's that plus Shiren the Wanderer.
Exactly. That's the sort of thing Talking Time would absolutely just like be over the moon for.
Give you a
They were until they played it.
Okay, I will be right back because Dreamcast games are across the room.
Of course.
Oh, man. I'm just looking at the rest of these things.
What's he
I'm
got?
glad that both versions of Devil May Cry 3 were on this list.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I like Devil May Cry 3. I kind of picked
So do
Devil
I.
May Cry 3. Reign Historia is on here. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, that's a great game. That's getting re-released.
Guitar Hero would be fun, but like not for us because, it's Guitar Hero.
Also, I think that Smashcast would basically just obliterate him from orbit for all the licensed music.
Oh, yes, definitely. Absolutely. Well, I don't think Well, no, they probably would. Yeah, they probably definitely would. See, we got RoboCop 3. I gave Smiler that game.
Yeah, Chuck Rock 2, Son of Chuck.
I hand Smiler that game in person. He would literally just said, "You son of a bitch."
You're surprised? Of course that's what he said. That's what I would have said too.
That's what he would say. We got Star Fox Command. Oh fuck! I was actually rereading my Let's Read of that recently, earlier this week. I need to like.
Solar Boy Django.
Yeah, I kind of want to go back and write a big epilogue post about how basically.
Where are they now?
about now that I have like 3 years removed from it and can look back on both that part of my life and the actual act of writing that thing, what it sort of meant to me, because that weirdly meant a lot to me, writing out all of that crazy shit. I don't think I was terribly depressed in that period of time. It's more like I had a lot of weird shit in my head and I need to vent it out somehow, and somehow Star Fox Command became my whipping boy.
Oh man, Kendo Rage.
What is Kendo Rage? Kendo Rage!
Get it home, pop it in your home video game entertainment system, and are shocked to discover it's anime.
Yeah.
All right, there.
I kind of love. My stream just crashed. Oh wait, no, it's back.
You're back.
I'm back from outer space. No, I kind of love like the old style where like they would never put anime on the box, but the game would be anime as fuck. But like in America, we didn't know what anime was yet, so we would draw fucking Franz Frazetta art instead.
I'm a big fan of the like stock kind of like I'm a big buff Conan warrior man that they would turn every anime swordsman into. So you get like. Really like I was looking at like the Genesis East 3 box art and the Breath of Fire 2 box art, and they look like they're about to like Adol and Ryu look like they're actually attempting to murder each other. It's great. Put them side by side. It's really important that the Dreamcast know what year it actually is.
I always wonder if it like gets excited when it finds out that it's being played in 2017.
We didn't believe that I would be being played on my 18th birthday.
Right. It's like, oh boy.
God. I love the Dreamcast so much, I can't help it.
Dreamcast was a good boy.
It was a good boy.
Oh,
all of its good games have been ported at this point, but it's a good boy.
No, Skies of Arcadia is okay.
Skies of Arcadia has been ported.
Yeah, but like, I'm still
It should be ported to more things.
It should be ported to everything.
Oh man, Cannon Spike's
absolutely
great.
Cannon Spike. There are loads of wonderful Dreamcast games that are not on anything else, and that makes me very sad in my heart.
V just wants more Sakura Tyson 3 and 4.
Fanboy, I hope you die. In a fire.
I know. Oh man, I'm fired. Does that mean I had a job? Can I list you as a reference?
Yes. Actually, yes.
I fired him, but only because of Sakura Tyson.
It was extremely important that I fire him for that reason.
This is actually a game I know a lot about. I feel happy.
Really? I know, like,
Big
next
Resident
to
Evil
nothing. Now, let's see. Side
Are
note.
you guys talking about a Resident Evil or Sakura Tyson?
Resident Evil.
Okay, good.
Side note.
My knowledge of Sakura Tyson is limited to that incredible post where this guy like conflated Duke Nukem and Sakura and the and some like dating sim, because like this, I think it was Sakura Taisen. I want to say it was Sakura Taisen. Does Sakura Taisen have like a romance aspect where a bunch of goggle-eyed ladies are like, "Hey, Mr. Hero, you're so strong," or what the fuck ever?
Okay then.
I don't know how video games.
So this is Resident Evil.
Just trying to figure out what button is confirm.
Should be the A button. I don't see why it wouldn't be, but
Well, you say the A button, but it's a Dreamcast controller, so I get confused very easily.
Oh
That's
yeah,
fair.
like
I keep doing that.
it's one of my favorite
listen,
things.
you have
is
to.
that
You have to keep the option.
every like company has its very own like place for the A button, and none of them are the same.
Okay, so it's not the actual A button. That's apparently cancel. The Dreamcast B button does nothing. X. Okay, it's X. Go figure.
Okay
X is a
then.
good button.
They got lost on the way from the PlayStation.
I love. I know I'm a little ahead with the stream, but I'm testing the monitor adjustment. It just tells me to adjust my monitor. Like it's back in the old days when
Do it.
you didn't
Adjust
get any
it.
sort of like. Just like
Back in the old
something
days
to
where it's
move.
like, you think it's too dark? Well, then adjust your TV,
Yeah, get a new
idiot.
TV. Call it a day. I'm wondering. I don't even know if I have a save file in this VMU. I mean, I'm gonna start first.
I'm not
one way or
convinced
the
that your
other.
VMU would still work. It uses like a watch battery.
That is true.
Man.
No, no game saves. But I can actually safely say we could. If you want me to exit back to the menu, I can still show you all the stupid saves that are still on the VMU and actually working. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
I've also got obviously can't see my controller there, but I've got the stupid little vibrating thingy in there too. It's a
Nice.
fully
Jumper
equipped
pack.
Dreamcast controller.
So you got like this. You got this on lock then.
Oh well, I mean, if you're gonna play a Dreamcast game, you may as well get
You
the
gotta
full
play
experience.
it right. No, you're doing this properly.
All right. So, fun fact on your end: unfortunately, sound does not come through whatever arcane setup I have for the Dreamcast for streaming.
Oh,
That's
well.
fine. We all have our stream muted, so
Let-
we can
let me
talk to you
simulate
and
the
not hear ourselves
experience.
20 seconds later.
Let me simulate the experience.
Okay.
Resident Evil Code Veronica.
That was good. I'm going to take my crack at it now. Here we go. Resident Evil Code Veronica.
Good.
I don't actually know how I did that.
So the fun thing about this is this was supposed to be Resident Evil 3.
Yes.
Oh, I was unaware of that.
Yeah, Sony was like, yes, about that. And suddenly it was not Resident Evil 3. that obvious Gaiden game, Resident Evil Nemesis, suddenly became Resident Evil 3 Nemesis.
I honestly feel like of the original. I mean, I know everybody was gaga for 2, but at the time, I feel like 3 was the one that got my attention the most.
It always
did
seems
not
to be
play-
either really like 2 or really like 3, and there's never an overlap.
I did not play a Resident Evil game before 4, and 4 is amazing. It's one of the best games ever, pretty much.
Hey,
That's sinister umbrellas.
I still wonder why they chose that logo. Was it just like they had some lying around? Like they were
Listen,
just
they made good on why they did it in Resident Evil 6 when a man, like, bled out the umbrella logo and then turned into a T-Rex.
Wait, a T-Rex?
God,
Like,
I love
was-
Yeah, he
video
turned
games.
into a giant zombie T-Rex,
Like with the little tiny arms and everything?
basically.
Yes, that is amazing. I need to play Resident Evil 6 now. I didn't
It's
know
the
how
dumbest
badly I
video
needed
game
to
in
play
human
until
history, and I
right
love
now.
it.
Now
I
I'm
love like
interested.
early Zero's animation, 3D like FMV animations.
I
I
was
love
like-
how Matrix this is.
oh God,
extremely.
yes. You
It
know,
was 2000. We had to.
Yeah, I know. They didn't have a choice.
I'm honestly kind of impressed at how good this looks. Like, I
Yeah,
mean,
no, it looks good.
I always think of the Dreamcast as being, a million years ago, but it really, like, every once in a while, it's like, oh yeah, no, that's not so bad.
The
This was
Dreamcast
the
like had serious chops.
this was the first Resident Evil with properly 3D backgrounds rather than 2D pre-rendered ones.
And honestly, I think they still use 2D pre-rendered ones in like the recent HD re-release.
Well, the HD re-release was based off the GameCube one, which did in fact use them
Yeah.
as its it was a remake of the original, and they were kind of trying to preserve the style.
Yeah, the GameCube one still actually looks really good for what it is.
The HD update of this has like a completely redone lighting engine, and it's really surreal because the character models haven't really been updated, but the backgrounds look way better than they seem like they should.
All right. So like, I just saw her drop her gun because she's being
to show like, oh,
guns,
I'm not.
And then suddenly swoop down and catch the gun she just dropped and shoot the explosions.
The physics
she shot
dubious
like
best.
a barrel that exploded.
Yeah. But nobody shot her in the time that they all saw her reach for. I guess
they were busy being stuck in Matrix time.
Oh yes, right. She has bullet time. Nobody else has bullet time. Okay.
So this game is kind of how much Resident Evil have you played, Gogglebob?
Personally,
of this style.
I mean, I played this back in the day, but like I said, 3 was my better of the Resident Evil, but Resident Evil 2 was my first one, and it was a rental, and I was not unhappy to give it back, so to speak.
So in Resident Evil, these classic style ones, if you're playing as a Redfield, you're generally making life harder on yourself. And this is a Resident Evil game where you play as 2 different Redfields.
Wait, then who's Veronica? Because it's Claire and it's Chris. Neither of them are named Veronica.
Veronica is a thing that is important to the crazy people running this particular branch of Umbrella.
Okay. So who's named Veronica then? Is anybody named Veronica? Are they just?
It is a reference to a file that's shown late in the game. They are taking part. They are experimenting on a strain of the T virus, the T Veronica virus.
Okay, see, I always thought the girl on the cover was just named Veronica, that was her name.
It's Claire that's on the cover most of the
literally
time.
went for years until now, so literally 17 years, believing that Code Veronica. I just thought the girl on the cover was named Veronica, and this was her game. That it starred Veronica.
Completely incorrect.
And I am. Was I wrong to think that? No,
infuriated.
I think that's a reasonable assumption to reach. I think that's a reasonable conclusion.
I barely played Resident Evil 2, and I was well aware of what Veronica I was looking at, or not Veronica.
Okay, well, I jumped on.
I
started on the series with 4, so I guess that's that's my fault there.
Behold,
So I guess
you still owe me that Let's Play of Resident Evil Remake, dude.
Yeah, one day.
Okay, as long as it happens.
Oh yeah.
I say that, but I owe 40 people 40 Let's Plays. I'm terrible.
I owe you 5. It's terrible.
No. Oh, okay. Just trying to feel out the original Dreamcast controls here on my end.
Yeah, it only had one analog stick, and that was fine. But it was weird now.
I sometimes wonder, if the Dreamcast had survived longer, how boned would it have been based on the fact that, any game that was attempting to be ported to the Dreamcast was not going to be able to make a significant use of the right analog stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Dreamcast is one big if of what would have happened if. That just absolutely nowhere.
For what it's worth, these are some seriously good character models, given that the Dreamcast was, a Dreamcast.
Well, also given that it's also, unlike most Resident Evil games of the time, it's rendering
fully 3D. Yeah, so it's not just
in real time as
so
well.
it can't spend all of its power for just one character. It needs to have the whole screen visible.
They also like to show off that this was the next generation of Resident Evil because there's a lot more zombies at once in this one.
Ah.
Oh,
very
wonderful.
Cool, very cool.
This is a really hard game by early Resident Evil standards.
Oh man, fanboy! Remember when I streamed my Game Boy Color Resident Evil?
Yeah, it was great.
not Gaiden. The game.
Tiny
the
sprite Chris
one.
Redfield. Tiny sprite Chris Redfield was just too much man.
He was so buff in that game. He was just tiny little bodybuilder.
A tiny Adonis. The combat knife is better in this one than in most Resident Evils, but still not great. I'm sorry, I'm just going to keep saying actual gameplay advice. It's terrible.
That's fine. I'm going to keep saying like idiotic nonsense and drunken bullshittery.
I mean,
Same thing, actually. Same thing. 2 words that mean the same thing.
So this the guy that you just left behind is the center of like a couple of sort of side quests later in the game. You can go back and like if you're as Claire, you can go back and give him like hemostatic medicine and a few other things, and he will pass more stuff off to Chris when you have to take control of Chris.
well, that's something at least.
Like, this was them attempting to... Like, Resident Evil 2's big thing was it had what they called the zapping system, where, like, you would take items in one character's game, and when you played the other character's game, they'd be missing, and you would just sort of have to deal with it.
Right.
And, like, this tried to do that, except that it was, like, there was no choice. You were not going to roll credits until you had finished both characters' game. And so it sort of forced them to feel a little more interconnected. Mostly it just made the game really hard.
I'm just like imagining Chris Redfield just like trying to make it through the entire game with nothing but like I don't know, like a pair of toothpicks he found in like the cupboard or something. Just like screaming curses at Claire for like taking all of his shit.
As she's
That's
walking
basically
around,
what happens if you
It's
aren't
like
careful.
you didn't even need that machine gun ammo. You hate the machine gun.
she's walking around with like Link with everything loaded down in her inventory.
Yeah.
It's really
She's
great.
like, she's got like this giant backpack full of stuff, and he's like getting by on scraps.
The stairs are like a door. Okay, yeah, you got it.
I'm still working on walking because it's one. Oh gosh,
You're not used to tank controls?
definitely not on the Dreamcast at all.
Yeah, that controller, that D-pad's not great.
Yeah, no, it is not.
Parts of it are raised above other parts.
Could you control the camera with the D-pad in Sonic Adventure? I'm trying to remember this now.
I don't
Not
believe
at
so.
all. Not at all, if memory serves.
I thought there were like a few circumstances where you could control the camera a little bit, but not many. Granted, like the crazy thing is, like the very best Sonic games, like the most recent one being Sonic Generations, gets around the whole camera problem by just never letting you control the camera in any way, shape, or form at any point.
Yeah, because it's never a good idea to give it to you.
Yeah, so just like, no, screw you. You don't get to use a camera. We just, we'll just script all the camera sequences, and it actually works.
I love that you can... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, what was the first Sonic game with camera control? Because I'm almost certain it wasn't Sonic Adventure.
I believe
Adventure
Sonic
has
Adventure 2
some-
Battle had the ability to use it. I know for a fact that, honestly, wait, no, I know that there were a few. Yeah, I can't. Maybe Sonic Heroes? Shoot, I honestly have no idea now. I can't actually answer that question. I'm a terrible Sonic nerd.
So there's a slight change here between this and almost every other released version. Code Veronica X adds an extra, like... Oh, no, wait, here it is. There's some extra cutscenes in Code Veronica X, and I was thinking, is this cutscene new? But it is not. Which is weird, because it feels like something that was inserted later.
I'm just probably going to die here right off. I have no idea what
fine.
to even do.
Look,
You
sometimes,
run.
There we go.
sometimes, Goggle Bob, you have to stand there and force a woman to get eaten by zombies.
It's like,
I feel like that's not a
This is
thing you
not
have
like
to do.
my fault. This is your fault. You are the one who marched this woman into the zombie graveyard and then said, "Hey, zombies,
Okay.
it's like an all-you-can-eat buffet."
I eventually found the stab button, but it's really not working out for me here.
Yeah, no, you should be running, not fighting.
Turns out that like zombies actually don't care that much. When
Is
you
that
stab
zombie on fire?
Yeah, he's fine. He loves it.
them. Yeah, zombies are great.
I
Actually,
can't
I really
get through
hate
the thing I
zombies.
want to get through. Yeah,
Oh, this is gonna end poorly.
Claire is just very dead. I'm glad I saved.
Yeah, you need to run.
I'm trying
like, I don't
so
know who-
much. It's like open the equipment menu. That is not what I want to do. Yeah, I'm gonna watch Claire die now.
This is tragic to watch. For the record,
What am I
if you
supposed to... Go ahead.
if you absolutely must knock a zombie down with the handgun, which is not generally not the handgun, the knife, which is not generally advisable, you point
I'm
down
done.
and stab its knees.
Okay, well that's
yeah,
good
cut
to
its little
know.
zombie tendons.
All right.
Honestly, taking a bite or two there is not unexpected. There's so many zombies.
Yeah, well, a bite or two is better than what would ever happen.
This isn't one of those like zombie scenarios where every zombie bite will turn you into a zombie, right? This is one of those zombie scenarios where only if the zombies kill you, they'll turn you into a zombie.
There's variable canon justifications for why main characters never get infected.
I presume
The answer is that Resident Evil doesn't care that much.
That's fair. I'll take it.
I mean, I would assume like the real canon way that Resident Evil exists is that like none of the characters have ever been bit outside of like minimum like
I believe
cutscenes.
Jill actually does get infected at some point in 3.
Oh, is that why she turns into a maniac in Marvel vs. Capcom?
No, that's a 5 plot point. Listen, I can tell you all of Resident Evil's plot, you just don't want it because it involves names like Ark Thompson.
Hey, you know what I actually own? I think
What?
it was Brady Games came out with a quote-unquote strategy guide that was just the plot for... It's 2 books that is just the plot
heaven.
for Resident Evil. And it is, like, it's all written in, like, 2-point font. It is ridiculous.
That is
It's
amazing.
really long.
I love it.
It's really long.
It's
It's
like a-
really dumb.
Book challenge.
Does it cover how none of the the endings in the original Resident Evil are canon?
I love that. I still love that. Like, they've remade it so many times, they've retold its story so many times, and none of them work. None of them make sense. At this point, they have to be doing it on purpose.
No, they're absolutely doing it on purpose. It's exactly what I would do if it were me.
Okay, so how does
There were
Metroid crawl? Because I have no idea, like, when I need to stab, I don't know how to stab.
Like, you should not be stabbing at this point. You like the knife against this group of zombies is suicide. You will not
Okay.
get rid of them.
What
So,
you need to
you should
do
just-
is run
Where
away
was
from
I
zombies.
supposed to go?
You were actually headed in the right direction. There's a doorway behind like bits of steel like steel bars that you were headed towards, and then you turned around and tried to stab a bunch of zombies.
I'm sorry, I'm just enjoying how Claire can pivot now. Okay,
Yeah, she's very good at it.
let me try this again.
I believe in
this.
you.
I believe in you.
I apologize for being the worst at explaining things.
Oh, no, it's okay. It's par for the Resident Evil course as far as I'm concerned.
Wait, Goggle Bob. Instead of listening to Fanboy, who has played this game and knows how to play it, have you tried making friends with the zombies?
I don't think friendships exist in this
The
version.
Dreamcast doesn't have enough controllers for a friendship option. That wasn't invented
Listen, Mortal
until, like,
Kombat Gold has
GameCube.
friendships, I think. I saw that on your list.
This is true. But then you had to put in a complicated button sequence, and I was never
true.
going to learn that.
Okay, now I'm thinking about Mortal Kombat, and I know that like they had fatalities, right? And then they had friendships, and then they're like, "Well, we gotta add more things to the customers."
We have
they
to
want
add more
things.
alities.
We have to add more alities. So then they added babyalities, which turned you into a
Babalities.
baby for some reason. Babalities, right? And then they had one that turned them into monsters, and I think they might have used the worst possible word for that ever, but I'm not sure.
It was animalities.
Okay. Because, you know.
And then there's also brutalities, which just which just explode a person into 15 rib cages.
After a combo.
I thought that
Yeah.
always happened.
There we go.
No. Usually they don't grow new rib cages.
Oh, wait. I have to go.
We must not have played the same Mortal Kombat.
Oh, that's...
I believe the Genesis port of Mortal Kombat 2 also has the Furgality.
Oh, God, that thing.
Reality? Gross. Gross.
No, it's not what you think it is.
Gross.
Okay, so what's important is that I eventually am able to get past zombies.
Zambos.
Zombos.
Zimby.
I didn't have to
So I
make
like
any
how-
friends.
So I like how the first major puzzle of the game is going to be getting that briefcase. You cannot get it yet. You need a fire extinguisher that you'll get later. But you can see the briefcase before that van explodes. Claire comments on it in her internal monologue, but you can't actually get it.
Why
That's
did you shoot a
trolling.
light? Do you just hate lights?
But, you know, it's funny. This is one of those games that I own that I think like the entire premise behind me owning it was like to bring it over to friends' houses and watch friends play it. Because like I know how this game happens, but I'm not convinced I've ever actually played it. Like if that makes any sense.
That's fair.
It's like a movie that you've only ever watched at your friend's house, but you've never watched in your own house. Is that something that people do?
I could see, like, there are movies I would never watch alone.
Yes, there you go.
Also, Steve here, his haircut got changed in all subsequent releases of the game to make him less Leonardo DiCaprio.
I was going to ask you what boy band was up to.
Steve Burnside.
Okay, I remembered what I was going to say like a half hour ago now.
Oh, God.
My favorite like explanation for why people get bit by zombies and are fine is that the zombie like virus just has a really low infection rate.
That's a good one.
Like it's just like it's only gonna actually like kill you if you're already on death's door, and like every other time your immune system just like smacks it down like it's nothing, like it doesn't even give a shit.
I just like the idea of a really ineffectual zombie virus.
Yeah, like
in terms of infection rates, like most
like if you've been a guy
like
who's already about to die, he just sort of sit back up and go, "Hey, thanks, man, I feel better now." But otherwise, it's just not even an issue.
So this is a silly thing, but I actually do appreciate that the gun that got fired in the cutscene starts with fewer bullets than it would have at max.
That actually is that's good attention to detail. Nice job, Resident Evil. Good job.
But yeah, you actually want to leave through the same door that Steve seemingly left through.
I already forgot which way he went, so that happened.
Well, that was the correct. I think you just went the correct way. So
I
it's
have
fine.
poor spatial relations, let me tell you.
Yeah, well, the camera's probably not helping you here. This area that you're in, presuming that you're still in it by the time my stream catches up,
don't worry.
There's a pair of machine guns that you can find in here. But you have to like go inside the area near the deck that you're on. The sort of outdoor porch sort of thing.
Let's go hang out on the deck.
Like inside that, there is a pair of machine guns to be found.
Deck is an inherently funny word. This is a true fact.
Deck.
There's also reason to empty them out relatively early because eventually Steve is going to start whining about how he wants them.
What?
Who's Steve?
Steve is the guy that you just shot at in the previous cutscene.
Sounds like a dick.
He's terrible.
Is he like okay? I know that like in is it the Dead Rising series, the one where like I covered wars, you know?
Dead Rising.
Yeah, okay. I know that like half the survivors turn out to be dicks that you have to kill anyways. Especially the photographer.
Oh man, yeah. Well, the photographer is insane. It's obviously insane for the entire game, but
I just assumed they were all obviously insane.
like some of them are not as obviously as
Oh,
insane.
there we go. I figured out how to shoot. I'm probably going to die, but I figured out how to shoot.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
See, you're making progress. This is a big step forward.
Oh, just shot in the ceiling. I'm probably this is terrible. I'm not
Listen, if you're dying, you can use the green herb to heal yourself.
That's true. That's absolutely true. Come on. Can I not walk over the zombie? I'm going to leave this room for a moment.
You can totally walk over zombies.
I am having just the biggest control problems with this game.
You're not having a very good day.
No, this is, like I said,
It's
like
a tough
a
game.
unfamiliar controller, and like... I mean, full disclosure, if I was just doing this for FGC, I would have somehow been cheating at this point, like all the time.
So what
You
you're
gotta pull
saying
out your
is,
nice old Dreamcast Game Shark.
so what
Yeah,
you're
that's fine
saying
that
is,
exists.
Fanboy and I ruined your life,
Yes, that's exactly it.
and we took pleasure in it.
That's generally what I do.
That is untrue. You have yet to ruin my life.
Give it time.
I need like a You know, it's funny.
That's ominous.
Here, I'm going to make something important statement or something like here.
All right, I'm listening.
It's funny how we all complain about like opening tutorials and crap on new games, but seriously playing this, how many times have I like opened the map just in an attempt to stab a zombie? Like I don't have any base on how to like walk in this game.
I don't even know if you've worked out how to run yet.
Have I? No. That
I
just
haven't
opens
seen
up
you
the
run.
fucking menu again.
I
God.
have not seen you run yet.
Is it L? No. Okay.
I would assume it's a face button.
I've run out of buttons. Okay.
Like you hold a button and press forward,
Oh, there
like
we
you
go.
would expect.
It is evidently A. All right.
See, you're getting places.
So do I have to go back in that shed, or what have I got to do here?
You don't strictly have to, but you're going to be negotiating dogs very quickly.
Oh, balls. Ugh. All right. I guess I'll use that damn herb. God, I keep hitting.
When you go into a
buttons.
state where your animation changes, you actually do move very slightly slower.
Yeah, no, but you know, it's one of those things. Like, I know I'm at medium. I could get worse. I feel like I should save the herb for that.
A green herb will take you from medium to like high, but not actually top you out.
Okay, well then, whatever. I can't even effectively use the menu. This is like the saddest
tragic.
thing ever. Alright, so yes, let's use that. You know, I am so used to just everything being like effectively Super Nintendo A and B that the fact that everything is Super Nintendo Y here, I'm just doomed. Alright, so before I go in,
I'm trying to remember what is on the back of Claire's jacket.
Shoot. Aim and shoot. Okay, I think I got this now. I absolutely do not have this, but whatever. God! Oh, no, I didn't actually hit the right button. Thank God. All right!
I hit the right button. I never expected it.
Pretty much. Now I've got Walking Dead
When you
rules
get
in
grabbed,
here.
there is worth in mashing the buttons. You will actually be let go faster. It's possible to actually be let go without getting bit, but it's very rare.
Oh, my poor Dreamcast controller.
Rip.
All
I once
right.
had a Dreamcast controller that had
Oh, son of
C and Z buttons, and I could never quite tell why it had those, because I
What?
couldn't think of a single one that used them. It was a third-party one, and I wasn't sure what they were thinking.
Now, an extra analog stick, that could have worked.
Third-party controllers are like magical, like straight up magical.
Just,
I
like,
love
let's just put in
third-party
something that
controllers.
doesn't exist.
Yeah,
Oh.
like
The
why not? Why the hell not?
The Super Nintendo, I'll always remember I got a Super Advantage for $50, that stupid Advantage controller, and it somehow got stuck in slow motion mode like 3 seconds
That's
after I bought
awesome.
the thing.
That's perfect.
that is beautiful.
And like I was like ashamed to tell my parents like this thing has to go back to the store because it is broken 5 seconds after it started being used.
I knew that feeling as a child. It's like, I can't, like, they already went to the trouble of, like, taking me to the store to get it. I can't tell them that it broke.
Right, and I already told them like this was going to be the best controller ever, that was going to make my life so much better, and blah 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 blah, and it's broken immediately.
Yeah, there's some nice detail here. Like, Claire's head will, like, try to track things that are of note in the environment, which is nice.
Yeah, what was the first? Was it Final Fantasy X that I feel like was the first Final Fantasy that did that?
That sounds about right. That was the first time that they had, like, articulated necks. So.
That's yes. Well, I mean, if Cloud had an articulated neck, his hair would have just like broken him in half on the
It
first
would have
day.
been ruined.
Yeah.
Silent Hill 2 has that as well, but there's, like, I can't remember if this has the same problem. In Silent Hill 2, like, it's very common for James to notice things through walls.
Awesome. I think that actually kind of works for Silent Hill.
Almost.
The wall was never actually there. Or the wall was actually your girlfriend or something.
Both and neither.
Your girlfriend was never actually there.
Yeah, your girlfriend was just a myth. A
Who
legend.
was the wall?
She lives in Canada.
Ah, a simpler time back when you could claim you have a Canadian girlfriend and nobody would
It's the pen. She's my pen pal.
yeah.
So, you guys Facebook friends? No, she doesn't have a Facebook. You know how it is. It's
It's Canadian law.
yeah,
Yeah,
Canadian.
Cana-
Oh, that's it exactly.
They don't have Facebook in Canada. It's a whole thing.
And then you wind up making a fake Facebook to impress your friends, and like you're just
She broke the law just for me.
do like a Google image search for like hot girl, and that's like the first result.
Oh God.
Then you're worried that it's the first result, so you put Canadian afterward.
you flip the picture or something stupid.
You flip the picture
Like
and you put a
crop it a
sepia
little.
tone filter on it.
Yeah, it's the Instagram thing. Good God. I am so glad that I was not. I was not a child like when social media was a big thing, because it was just made my life terrible.
Oh yeah, no, we all would have suffered a great deal if social media was available to us as children.
And by
Also,
suffered, I mean
while
be
you
in
were
jail.
streaming this, I went into MS Paint and edited a Toad comic I saw on my Twitter.
Oh no.
See, you're accomplishing more than Claire is right now.
Yeah, I am.
Claire
No,
just shot a
don't
zombie man
walk
to death.
in that
It's fine.
direction. No.
That's.
Okay.
I hope I
well,
misheard that. I really do.
Claire. Oh. Okay, come through the door. Through. Oh, no, that's not a door. That's a toilet stall. I am screwed.
You have another healing item.
I know. I just hate using things.
Listen, you're not going to get far enough for it to matter anyway.
This is true. Like
Nothing matters anymore.
this is why I mentioned that I'm cheating in the Wild Arms 2 thing, which it's just
Wild
war. War. This has broken my brain already. But
I
I'm
am
so
dropping this into the Smashcast chat so that you may all appreciate my handiwork.
Okay, I'm clicking this tweeter and I'm regretting the choices that have brought me in my life to this point. Okay, I regret this even more.
Ah!
Claire, why did you turn around?
If you hit run and down at the same time, she does a 180 spin.
Evidently.
That's actually really useful. Like having a quick turn option is really useful. It's just
Not
if you
right
don't-
now, Claire. Not right
You have
now.
to know what it does.
Fanboy, read my comic aloud for Goggle Bob so that he might appreciate it.
Do I have to?
Yes.
Okay, just a moment.
Ah.
I'm loading it up now. Hey, bird asshole, WTF are you doing with my cool star? Oh, and also that girl, I guess. Whatever. JKIDGAF, LOL.
What?
Rip.
I'm sure that's not going to make any more sense when I actually see it.
It won't.
It's going to moonwalk.
Okay,
there.
so here's the thing. Super Mario Bros. Posted the ending to a Captain Toad Treasure Tracker comic, which is just Toad going, "But the star!" and this eagle carrying away the star, and also a toadette that's clinging to it. And then that's just him, a shot of him sitting down with this dumb, dopey little smile on his face going, "I've got to get that star back after a little break." And in the background, the girl's getting carried off by the eagle just screaming, "Ah!" And it just blows my mind that Toad literally gives so few shits.
Toad doesn't give a shit about anything. He's Toad.
Yeah, no, he just could not care less.
Have you seen him, at all?
All he does is treasure track.
See, that's the thing, right? I always sort of assumed that Toads gave many shits because they're always flipping out over their princesses getting captured. But if it's not a princess, they don't even
I
care.
was going to say, that's their sovereign. They're worried about her. I mean, it's
They don't care about each other. Toads are a dime a dozen.
Right, exactly. They can't even
So
tell
you're
each
saying
other
that Toads
apart.
value their own lives so little that it doesn't matter?
Yes.
As long as
amazing.
there are toads, they are legion.
I mean, look at the original Super Mario Brothers. You can warp directly to the princess, leave every other Toad in a castle, and they're like, "All right, cool, you saved the princess."
That makes
It's
sense.
possible that toads are a hive mind.
Oh yeah, there
Oh,
you
nice
go.
dodge.
That's how
I
funguses
refuse
work.
to continue down this line of conversation because it reminds me too much of when the game theory guy played The Last of Us and decided that
Oh,
Super
God.
Mario Brothers was actually Last of Us fan fiction.
Oh.
And he
Let's not
talked
talk
about
about
this
that.
for a fucking half hour.
I'd rather talk about Resident Evil dump plot.
Like this video has millions of views and it's just dumbest thing imaginable.
I'm going to talk about Albert Whiskers.
Oh, yes, Albert Whiskers. He's a good boy.
Your favorite. So this is the game where he actually came back, and at the time it was actually a twist.
Well, it's kind of
I
like...
assumed that Albert Whiskers was always was sort of waiting up in the wings, just like to stroll in and say, it was me all along at the end. It's just his thing.
Well, that was his thing at the end of Resident Evil 1. But at the end of Resident Evil 1, he obviously dies. And then he's back in this one, and they came up with the convoluted explanation that he had intended to be murdered by the Tyrant, and in fact had injected himself with a virus so that he would regenerate while Resident Evil's ending was playing out.
Ah, all right, sure, that works. Whatever, it's fine.
But yeah, like this is the game where he came back, and at the time it was actually a twist.
Well, because the original first three Resident Evils, like, that takes place over the course of, like, 12 minutes, doesn't it?
Yes.
Resident Evil 1 takes place a month before Resident Evil 2, and Resident Evil 3 takes place both a day before and a day after Resident Evil 2.
That's beautiful.
Resident Evil 0 takes place the day before Resident Evil 1.
Just the people who showed up early.
I think Resident Evil Survivor takes place, like, between Resident Evil, like, sometime in that same, like, ambiguous set of times. It's pretty dumb. And are there any more I'm, like, forgetting? Code Veronica is, like, to this point, Code Veronica is easily the furthest in the timeline. It's 6 months later. Like, at this point, we have just barely crested into 1999. Resident Evil started in the near future of 1998, having been released in 1996. And by the time it left 1998 and adjacent, like, it was like 2005.
So when is Resident Evil 4 supposed to take place? Oh.
It's 2004, 4 or 5. I can't remember which.
Just trying to think of the last time I cared about the president's daughter.
It's been a while.
Political commentary, folks.
Hey, are we talking about how much we hate Donald Trump? Because I hate that guy.
It's a basic concept there, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, basically.
Right,
I just don't want to think about him right now because I'm happy thinking about Resident Evil.
Yes, exactly. Let's not go into that dark alley that is current American politics. And all that.
Yeah. So, Resident Evil Outbreak also takes place at the same time as Resident Evil 2. It's kind of an Elseworld. Same with Resident Evil Outbreak File Number 2 and the unreleased File Number 3. Resident Evil Gun Survivor 2 Code Veronica takes place as like a weird nightmare version of Code Veronica, where the Nemesis is wandering around the island for some reason.
Why not?
Gun Survivor 4 Resident Evil Heroes Never Die takes place in like 2002, I want to say. Gaiden was stricken from canon. I'm not completely clear on when it took place. I apologize. I just needed to vomit this information somewhere.
Hey, man, it's okay. I post about Kingdom Hearts.
Hey, I can do that too, man. You have to put your lighter away as well. It's not clear that you can put it away at this point, but you can.
Wait, no, don't put your light away. How else are you going to smoke?
What would you be smoking?
You get all those herbs. And they make you feel better.
Does anybody remember that one Newgrounds game?
I'm just saying, man. You're the one who prevented me from using 420 as my number.
I didn't prevent you. You just said someone else said it, and now I can't.
For the record, 420 was Gradius. I'd have already beaten that by now.
You should be watching you play Gradius right now. You have no one but yourself to blame.
So what was 69?
69, I'm trying to remember. It was something lame.
I remember it was brought up because, of course, it was brought up.
Number 6, I'll have to look at the list again afterwards. I'll put it in the comments or whatever the heck. So I have to put everything away?
Yeah, you have to put everything metal away. So you can keep the herb, but nothing else.
That's disappointing.
This is very confusing first time through if you played a lot of Resident Evil, because normally you can't put away items that exist in the key item slot.
Yeah, no, I can see. I definitely, if you hadn't mentioned the lighter, I would have just been stuck forever. Another damn Akiba's trip stream.
Yeah, this also, you're leading up to one of my favorite, like, really stupid plot points of this game. Basically in the next room.
Okay, never mind. Don't spoil it. It's that close.
Like, the explanation for, like, the first half of the explanation will be there in that next room.
Am I going to have to be worried about something killing me again? Well, I mean,
No,
I'm
there's
always
nothing.
worried.
There's nothing that can hurt you here.
Oh, okay, very good.
It's like the one safe room, and I want to be the guy.
I don't think I ever got there.
I played the shit out of Want to Be the Guy, but I never beat it.
Got to the final boss like 3 times, and
Where
then just
most
kept
people
starting
are.
Yeah.
Wow, you actually got to the final boss of that?
Oh yeah.
Wow. I am impressed.
He did it on stream like 3 times. That's how we first started talking.
Yeah, pretty much. Our friendship began with "I want to be the guy."
Oh,
It's not something you can say very often in life.
I'm glad that Umbrella was still using fax machines in 1999.
I think most people were at that point.
Yeah, it's just a nice reminder.
I mentioned before the stream started, but my first year of college was 2001, and I had to like get approval to have the internet in my dorm room, which sounds so ridiculous now.
That's amazing. Approved
That
for
is
internet.
amazing, actually.
Yeah.
So that door on the other end of the room is jammed.
Whatever it is that keeps you out. But you know, I did not realize as a kid or whenever this would have come out, which would have been what, around 2001, wasn't it?
It
Yeah,
was
about-
2000.
Yeah, 2000. But I never realized how much 3D models still wound up looking anime even when they were trying to look realistic.
Yeah, no, there was definitely still like, oh, yeah, I can tell who made this.
Right, like, I did not recognize that at all back in the day. Like, this was what a human being was supposed to look like in my head, I suppose?
This is what I look like.
Yeah, this is clearly, like, how I've modeled my life. Actually, probably camo pants and a vest, I probably was wearing that around the time.
It's possible. So, like, this is great. Claire is, like, sending an email to Leon explaining where she is. Leon from Resident Evil 2. And, like, Claire's entire goal in Resident Evil 2 was to find Chris. Leon essentially forwards her email to Chris and says, oh, she's on this Umbrella prison island. And so he goes after her. Apparently, they just couldn't find each other via email.
Look, if you ever like tried to connect to someone via email, like email is the
really
worst
hard, I
way to
hate
talk
it.
to someone on the internet.
And it's really hard, I hate it.
Hey, wait a
I
minute.
Also,
say
there's a
this
typewriter
having,
right
like,
next to the
communicated
computer.
exclusively with Gogglebob via email for like
Right,
the
I
last
was like, wait a minute.
6 months.
Excuse me for a moment while I get furious. There's a typewriter right next to the computer.
Well, no, if this, I can tell you with absolute certainty, if this is like a legal office, which in any way, like they have to deal with documents, like I could just picture the secretary hanging out at the computer and then she needs to type up some stupid random thing. And her boss tells her every day, like, why can't we get rid of the typewriter? And it's like, no, we have Form 17B that has to be done on the typewriter. They told us this. There was a meeting about it.
Legal for all of our illegal things says we can't do this on the computer.
Oh, I would completely believe Umbrella is just constantly locked in like a bureaucratic nightmare of like their old staff is trying to file all the zombie reports and you know the one guy who knew what he was doing got turned into the tyrant. It's very annoying.
Taurus being held by something. A box.
Yeah, what am I supposed to be doing here, or was it just that I talked to that guy?
So that fax you found earlier is actually supposed to be the hint at a puzzle. You need to find an eagle medallion, place it in a scanner.
I'm sorry, I know you're being serious, but oh my god.
Yeah, no, I am explaining this as straight-faced as I possibly can. You find an eagle medallion, you place it in a 3D scanner, you find an alloy that like fax was telling you like, oh, this alloy isn't affected by metal detectors. You take a hunk of that metal alloy to the scanner and like have it carve an exact replica of the Eagle Medallion and use that to open a door you found earlier.
Oh Lord.
Yep, that's how Resident Evil works.
Okay, so I found the Eagle Medallion. Hooray!
Yeah, that's important. The scanner is in the previous room because obviously the Eagle Medallion cannot leave this area.
Right, yeah, because the whole stupid metal detector thing. I do at least like that they made it so that way the puzzle keeps you confined to this area. Because otherwise...
You cannot trek it off to someplace. Like, the game also has to sort of keep your inventory limited here because it still hasn't given you an item box to use.
Oh yeah, good point.
Flame rounds.
I always wonder how... Like, what are... Like, I know we're just dealing with, like, digital nonsense people. But, like, what arbitrary thing tells Claire that, you know, oh, this pile of crap is completely useless. But this Eagle Medallion, that we're going to have to use for something ridiculous.
If you saw an Eagle Medallion and were like, yeah, no, I don't think that's important to something, like, I'd have to question your sanity. No one makes a medallion carving of an eagle without having some purpose meant for it.
My grandkid will really enjoy this.
You'll love it. He's gonna be so pumped.
So how long was my microphone dead without me knowing it?
A couple minutes.
That's not so bad. I didn't really have any to say then anyways. And I actually just need to stand up and go do something really quick, so I will be right back.
I thought you already had.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's what we assumed had happened.
Scans the 3D object. Alright.
Yeah, you'll never need to... Once you scan that object, you never need to touch the Eagle Medallion again. It might as well have disappeared into the ether.
Yeah, which just seems like it could come in handy, right?
It's an Eagle Medallion. Like, you actually saw the door you need to use it on a little earlier. But... Like, this puzzle kind of sets the tone for the game because it's more complex than the opening puzzle to most Resident Evil games.
Yeah, I've always been kind of confused by the early Resident Evil's reliance on puzzles because it seems like with the whole constant threat of zombies and what have you, finding the Eagle Medallion and using the 3D scanner would not be your first impulse.
So, like, have you ever played Alone in the Dark?
Oh, yes, actually.
Like, I feel like it is the classic adventure game reaches the survival horror genre via Alone in the Dark.
Yeah, I could see that.
And so I think it's mostly just like, well, how do we structure this game? Well, it's puzzles. And there's no attempt to diegetically explain why it is the way it is. It's just whatever.
So you want to give me a tip on where I can find the material I need to put in there or whatever that is?
You need the fire extinguisher. You need to leave out through the way you came. You can pick up your stuff on the way out, but...
You can pick up your stuff on the way out.
There will be a door that will open. You will be marauded by many zombies. There's a fire extinguisher. You take the fire extinguisher back to the van that the first zombie burst out of. Use it there, and you will get a briefcase. You open the briefcase, and inside that is the alloy you need.
Good God. Oh, first aid
It's really fiddly and really backtracky. And of course, the game is tantalizing you at this point because it gives you a ton of grenade rounds. You can't get a grenade launcher yet and can't take them with you. You also can't take that first aid spray with you.
Yeah, I'm really quite annoyed by the first aid spray not coming with.
The first aid spray is just the game taunting you.
Yeah. Alright, there you go.
Of course I have this puzzle memorized, I apologize.
Is it the ink ribbons are metal too? What the hell, man?
The can that the ink ribbons are in is metal.
This is just the worst. It's like, what else would you like to put in here? Gonna find out that like herb is in a metal
Please
plant or
deposit
something.
any metallic item.
Alright, there we go. Hooray. And you're telling me I'm going to get attacked on the way back, too? That's just awesome.
Is there anything in life better than spiced rum? I would argue no.
Spice in general.
Fair, but still no.
I just explained the first puzzle solution to Goggle Bob while his brain sort of quietly exploded.
Is it put the eagle medallion in the eagle crest?
No, you have to make a duplicate of the eagle medallion through a ridiculous contrivance.
Oh, like a 3D printer?
Yes.
That actually makes perfect sense. I mean, like, what if you only had like one eagle medallion?
Yeah, the fact that there's a 3D printer and it's only used for one thing kind of bothers me.
I'm sure that Umbrella had tons of nefarious uses for it, but they don't now.
Like, the simple fact of the matter is, like, what you really need is more guns, but 3D printed guns, like, melt the first time you fire them, because they're made of plastic.
Well, that'd be disappointing.
Yeah. Well, this one's made of a metal alloy that doesn't show up on metal detectors.
Oh, wait,
but you also don't have
I need to
enough
actually
guns.
equip my gun.
Important.
All I can think of now is like you're playing StarCraft, and it's just like the StarCraft voice saying, "You need additional guns."
Instruct additional guns.
Additional guns. I don't actually know anything about StarCraft other than like the one time I watched Cal Scrub play it, and I spent the entire time hollering about his computer wife.
You need to open that shutter behind you.
Oh. Yeah, my memory of StarCraft was basically a number of LAN parties where I had absolutely no interest in StarCraft, but I remember we got one of my friends to eat dog food, so that was what was important.
What the
That
hell?
seems like an eventful evening, even without the StarCraft.
Well, that was the thing.
Yeah,
it was kind of
bit.
like, what else can we do? And it was eat dog food. Oh, what? Oh, God damn.
Is that really a what else?
Evidently.
I never actually witnessed anyone take the gallon challenge, which seems a lot like in the same vein as
I witnessed my brother do it.
Wow. Why?
I don't really know, and I don't think he rightly knew why he did it.
I don't think anybody knows why they undertook the gallon challenge. I think it just sort of happens to you.
Like, he did it on purpose.
Oh no, everybody does the gallon challenge on purpose, but if you ask them why an hour later, they're just quiet.
No, he
For
was just
other
really
reasons.
happy that someone got a picture of him in mid-projectile vomit.
Oh, that's impressive. But I remember back in high school, like a bunch of my
fire
friends,
extinguisher.
Yeah,
a
no,
bunch of my friends on the cross country team went to some party, and they all like came back talking about how Keith lost like the entire contents of his stomach attempting the gallon challenge. And I always wished I had been there.
Think of what you could have had.
I know, right? Like, man, that would have been so cool.
A life well lived.
Yeah.
I hate to cut and run on you, gents, but I actually have a thing I have to do.
Oh, but you're the only person who knows how to play this game.
I apologize. Like, feel free to send requests for advice through Beat, who will get, like, progressively more furious. That'll be fun. I really do regret it.
Well, I very
Let
much
me know if you do more of these.
Oh, yeah, no problem. No, I very much enjoy your presence. Thank you for being here, and thank you for telling me where the hell to go.
So, wait, you're leaving, fanboy?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, Goggle is fucked.
Yeah,
Sorry, Goggle.
yeah. Dogs.
I like how half of his name is Bob, which is an actual name, and you're still calling him Goggle.
Don't worry, he wouldn't be the first
Everybody's
one.
named Bob. This is like how, like, you don't call me Chris, you call me Beat.
It's not like your name is Chris Beat. Okay, I'll see you guys later.
Have a good one. Thanks for everything.
So, full disclosure, I haven't even really been, like, watching the stream that closely. I've mostly just been drinking and shouting dumb garbage.
I've been playing the game, and I've been barely watching this.
Okay, good. We're on the same page then. That's a start.
I'm standing in front of a fire trying to use a fire extinguisher, and the game tells me there's no need to use it now. So,
Well, that's an important fire. Find an important fire and then use it on that.
I think I'm going to be quitting myself here because I always say the the bare minimum for the FGC is a half hour, and I think definitely we've done more than that here.
Oh, I believe we are on. Let me check my timer here. Oh, there is no timer on. Oh wait, no, you've been live for an hour and a half.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's a while.
God, that's like an entire movie. That's like,
Yeah.
I could never imagine anybody actually watching any of these. Wait a minute.
Don't sell yourself short.
I should not have said that out loud.
100 YouTube subscribers.
My God. I think I have 2 and you're one of them.
Yeah, probably.
But then I can only update my YouTube once every, like, 5 years. So.
Okay, here's the thing about your YouTube, right? You actually, like, whenever you do a video, it always gets actually a pretty decent number of views, especially compared to the crap mine gets, because your videos have actual effort, thought, and work put into them.
This is true, and I appreciate your saying so.
Mine are literally just, ha ha ha, I'm goofing off with my friends and throw it up on YouTube, whatever, who gives a shit.
Hey man, I've really enjoyed the Sonic series you did, so there you go.
Most of that was probably the writing.
Well, true, but still.
I make an effort. It's this weird like half and half thing with me. I absolutely refuse to put actual effort into doing my videos. Like, there's no preparation, there's no consideration for presentation. It's literally just whoever's here, let's just goof off. But then, like, when it comes to writing up those incredibly stupid videos, I will go to ridiculous extents and rewrite them 4 or 5 times, all sorts of stupid crap like that, for a write-up on a forum that the people who actually watch the video don't even read.
Haha.
Oh, you're back.
Yeah, I'm here briefly while I wait for my other thing to start.
Where am I supposed to use the fire extinguisher?
You use it at the van.
I tried.
Where there's fire, over the briefcase.
Oh, go look for the briefcase.
Wait, you've been here a few times, and one time you were here, there was 1 million zombies. Did you just kill them all?
No, they're here. Some of them are dead.
Some of them are just ignoring you. They're like, whatever, we're too cool for your bullshit.
But yeah, after that, you will have to learn the basics of item examination by actually looking at the part of the briefcase that allows you to open it.
Oh, good God.
This is like in Phoenix, right? Where the entire last case had a bunch of cases where they introduced all these things because all of a sudden they were on the DS instead of a Game Boy.
Oh yeah, sorry, you had to tap on the exact thing and everything.
Yeah, I played the original Phoenix, right, and I was kind of impressed by the fact that the final case was longer than all 4 prior cases combined, and it introduced all these crazy new game mechanics that were never seen in any of the prior cases. It was quite interesting, actually.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that game. Shu Takumi, the director of that game, cut his teeth working on Resident Evil 2 and Dino Crisis 1 and 2. He actually directed Dino Crisis 2.
Huh.
Now there's a
well,
game.
That's something I learned. Something new.
I always wonder why Dino Crisis never went anywhere as a franchise.
Well, Dino Crisis existed as an experimentation chamber for Resident Evil, because 3D environments, can those work? Okay, we'll test it in Dino Crisis. And then after that, they were like, wait, we'll make it our Xbox horror franchise. Set it in space.
Right, exactly.
Give it platforming segments, but keep the awful camera.
That all sounds actually pretty wonderful.
Dinosaurs
Except for the awful camera part.
Well, obviously that part. But at the same time, I'm kind of totally on board. I don't know. I want my Xbox games with awful cameras.
But yeah, it's kind of a... It's Dino Crisis 2 is really interesting because it's a score attack game, basically.
That's unique.
Because you shoot the less damage you take and the more dinos you kill, you get currency. So it's prototype. In some ways, it's prototype Resident Evil 4. It's a really interesting game.
One of my favorite dumb trivia things is that one version of Resident Evil 4 that didn't take off was Devil May Cry.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
there's tons of Resident Evil 4s, and all of them are uniquely bad ideas except Devil May Cry, which was a really uniquely good idea.
Yeah.
There's one version we never actually saw. They've acknowledged it existed, but they never previewed it at any point.
This is just for us. You can't see it.
This is our secret Resident Evil 4. Nobody can see the secret Resident Evil 4
You won't
except
like
us.
it. You'll make
When
fun
they
of
announced
it.
the final version of Resident Evil 4, they actually gave a pretty good explanation. When Resident Evil 4 was... So when they announced the plan for Resident Evil 4, they said, we're going to make Resident Evil 1 remake, and it's going to be the ultimate version of Resident Evil as it has existed.
That's pretty cool.
And we're going to make Resident Evil 0, and it's going to be the evolution. And then Resident Evil 4 is going to be a complete revolution. It's going to play like nothing you've ever played. And that version of RE4, they were just like, this just plays like old Resident Evil. This is pointless.
Yeah, I can see them getting rid of that one. You know, just sort of tossing that. Makes sense. Because Resident Evil 4 honestly was just a major breakthrough in so many ways. It's kind of incredible.
It was the first Resident Evil I played that I thought, wow, this is a good video game.
Yeah. No, it's a great video game. I've seen people actually complain about the fact that, like, halfway through it, all of a sudden you're in a castle with, like, a lava pit, and this little tiny Napoleon wannabe dude is, like, screaming at you and all mad and stuff. And at one point he starts going on, like, this weird rant about how, like, isn't terrorism a popular word? Like, a terrorist? And Leon just responds by throwing a knife into his hand. Because fuck you, kid.
How could anyone complain about that?
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. But I have seen people legitimately go, oh, I felt it broke like my suspension of disbelief. I'm like, fuck you. You're talking about a situation where people come back from the dead. It's okay to have a castle full of dead people now.
Yeah, and literally you shoot people's heads off and like tentacle monsters pull out of them. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
okay.
Like this is a game where the object of the game is to
You
to
might
fight an alien invasion, an ancient alien invasion.
You're inevitably going to run into an InfoWars zombie. It's just kind of like, a population thing.
Yeah, you know. Like, some of those zombies probably believe the Earth is flat.
Right, exactly.
They're tweeting about it right
now. They don't talk about it. Because they're zombies. Alright, so I literally have no idea where to use this fire extinguisher. I don't know how, my brain works.
I think it's time to Akiba's trip this and just say, and Jill died on the way to her home planet. Wait, no, that's Claire, right?
Yeah, no, it's Veronica.
And Claire died on her way to her home planet.
Oh, wait, one thing I do want to be able to do here. Let's see. I should be able to, just for the hell of it. Hope this is the right button.
The wrong truck, by the way.
Oh, now that was the problem. Well, it's over now.
The
wrong flaming truck.
All this time, you were telling use it on the truck, and then finally you just go, oh, but not that truck.
Sorry,
God,
I just looked back.
I'm just saying, man. What did Gogglebob ever do to you to make him to make you treat him like this?
Wow, Rip.
Just
okay, I'm dropping another very important link into Gogglebob's chat.
There we go. It's pretty curious. A DeviantArt, really?
That's what Google image search gave me. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, just for the hell of it, in all of its glorious detail, as it will come across in a moment, as it gets to the stream. I'll look at the DeviantArt while we're doing this.
I'm watching. This was Google image search number, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. Google image search result number 6. Search on Resident Evil, weed.
See, we did get 420 in there. See, look, this is all the actual memory cards that are still completely active on this machine.
Let's see, let me look at this.
Sonic
Okie dokie.
2, yeah.
Oh, you got some pretty good stuff in there.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a Dreamcast, so it's pretty, it was focused goodness.
Good. Oh, hey, Sonic Adventure 2.
But I love how some of these have, 1998 dates, and yeah, that's probably accurate.
Yeah. Oh, shit, Jet Guy Radio. I love Jet Guy Radio.
Dynamite Cop. Yeah, the Dynamite Cop is recent because that was for when it was for the FGC.
Has that radio shown up in the Mafaustian Gaming Challenge yet?
The which?
Jet's Grind Radio.
No, I would definitely remember if that happened.
Okay.
Yeah, there have been 300. I have literally forgotten some of them. For some reason, I have a mental block against the fact that I've played Kirby games for FGC. Like, every time I start writing a Kirby article, I start writing the exact same first Kirby article on the
Right.
on the website.
I'm just extremely excited that the one you currently have selected, at least for me, is Bangai-O, because
Yeah.
Bangai is the greatest and most best game in the history of the universe.
Right there. Well, this was booted up for the most recent time was for the Bohemian Rhapsody video, since that had to be in there.
Oh yeah, and also I forced you to write about
Right.
Bangai-O that one time. That was fun. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I should have
I was
another
glad you did that for me.
like choice week or whatever the heck.
Yeah, that was.
I think I did that back in the 70s, and now we're at 300. Kind of hard to believe.
But like, I believe my Persona 3 is on there, and I will never allow Persona 3 to live down the fact that it considered it to be that the correct option was to encourage a kid to fuck his teacher. Like, I'm sorry, no, Persona 3 will never be allowed to live that one down.
Yeah, well, there's the freaking. I mean, there was that, and then also later in that game, you find out that like you've been having a secret online relationship with your teacher or something.
Oh God!
And it was just so ridiculous that such a thing was like even allowed to exist.
No, it's like, okay, like I get why people like Persona 3. It had like, it did a lot of things that like a lot of games don't do, and like I am capable, although not without being under great duress, of looking over my incredible, like, all-consuming bias against anything even remotely related to anime high schoolers. I just fucking hate them so much.
I
just
can
don't care
understand
about
it.
your
Well,
field.
they do constantly like revel in the same tropes, like over and over again.
It's literally just, oh, I like somebody and don't know how to tell them it. You can stop your stream, you know. We are allowed to, like, oh, you're playing Sonic Adventure 2. That's kick
Yeah,
ass.
it's
Never
like
mind.
whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
no, excellent. I'm
the
okay with
Dreamcast
this.
is running. Screw it. You know, people
Yeah,
can
let's
enjoy
play
a little
fucking
Sonic
Sonic
Adventure.
Adventure 2. I assume you're at least hearing your sound, right? Because the oh god, I wish Fanboy was still here because he has this incredible story about how he was at like a Walmart or just some random store, right? That had like, you know, like video game like kiosks and shit.
Uh-huh.
And two guys, he said he was sitting there like, you know, just like sort of hanging out, like waiting for his mom to get back or whatever. He's like ridiculously young compared to us old folks. And he like says that he saw these two nerds like boot up the Dreamcast demo, pick the Sonic Adventure 2 like demo, and play City Escape just so they could sing along with
Oh my god!
this game.
Why would
He said
that even be allowed to happen?
He said it was the most amazing thing he had ever seen, and I wasn't even there, and I agree with him. It's the most amazing thing I've ever heard of. Sonic 3 Knuckles is just an amazing accomplishment in so many ways. It does so much stuff that you honestly would never expect a humble little Genesis game to do. And the fact that it exists at all, like, is kind of mind-blowing because I can't imagine Nintendo or any other video game company, like, after splitting a video game in two, saying, nah, you can put it back together.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, I mean it's basically a expansion before we even had the word for it.
Yeah, like we didn't know what DLC was when
Right.
when Sonic Adventure when Sonic and Knuckles came out, but that was basically kind of what it was.
Well, yeah, I mean,
And like
there are
like
always things like I mentioned this I think in my write-up of the game, but like my friends and I fantasized about playing a Mega Man 2 that you beat Mega Man 2 and then it immediately goes into Mega Man 3.
oh, that would be perfect, right?
Right, exactly.
But like nothing like that can happen until like well, actually I'm pretty sure maybe there's a ROM hack of that actually. I wouldn't put it past ROM hacker.
Probably is. But I mean, just like that was such a natural thing that in 1980, whatever the heck, 5-year-olds were coming up with, oh, this would be the ideal thing to do. And then Sonic 3 and Knuckles does that, and literally we haven't seen anything like that again, other than, you know, lame collections and what have you.
literally Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2. Super Mario Galaxy 2 started as a bunch of like, basically levels they made for Mario Galaxy that didn't make it into the rich final product.
Right, but again, they released it as two separate products.
Yeah, and you will never be able to play those two games as a single cohesive unit, right?
Yeah,
even
one
though
way
they're
or another,
basically
they're built to be separate.
Yeah, even though they feel very much like, the same game.
Right. Yeah.
And because they were the same game at one point. Like the same engine and everything. I love how Sonic catches on fire as he re-enters Earth's atmosphere.
It's my favorite thing.
Touch.
When I first got to this level, I must have died like 12 billion times.
Oh yeah, no, you die on this level all the time, but like eventually, like there are moments in this level, and there's moments I live for, where you realize that if you jump down here, eventually, like you'll avoid the death planes enough to actually load the next part of the level, and like the rails will pop up and you can land on those. Those are great.
But yeah, as I was saying, when I first played this, I died so many times that I got so angry just every time Sonic was falling into the atmosphere. Like I remember being like so pissed off. And then also, like, I think I played the level so many times that I got really annoyed by the fact that Sonic has always made a big thing about breathing underwater, but clearly he is breathing in whatever atmosphere exists here.
Look, Sonic can breathe in space. This was confirmed as early as Sonic and Knuckles. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, there you go. Thought he had to be super then.
But anyways, I don't even know what I was talking about anymore. It's all gone. It's all
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic at one point or another. Something about art games at some point doesn't fucking matter.
Sonic turning into Knuckles. I don't know. Who cares? That one time Knuckles.
But like no, Sonic Heroes. Yeah, that was on. That was on Sonic Heroes, right? Yeah.
So then they get to Knuckles, and it's like, okay, now what do we make for the rival for Knuckles? And somehow the answer was Sexy Bat. And it's like, okay, guys.
I swear it was. I swear somebody dared somebody else. Hey, I bet I can sneak bouncing boobs into a Sonic game, and nobody stopped it somehow. Because that was.
But also, it has to be a Sonic, so it's like, what animal haven't we used? Bats. Bats are good.
It's the simple fact of the matter is that like the early Zeros were when people like first figured out that they could make tits jiggle in a video game, and this was considered a massive revelation.
People figured that out in the 90s, but they didn't have to painstakingly make a sprite for every like section of boob jiggle.
Yeah, like when they started getting better at polygon modeling, all of a sudden this became a possibility, and they were like, oh, the whole like world opened up before them, and they could see eternity.
Now we can make them individually affected by physics.
Yeah. And so I swear, like somebody just said, "Hey, I bet we can fit this into a Sonic game somehow," and then just sort of sat there, like in shock as nobody realized they were joking. That's the version I want to believe.
After a while, if you're the one making 3D models for a Sonic game, you're probably a furry.
Oh no, absolutely. Oh, don't die! Try not to die. Okay, good. You saved that one.
Yeah, this train is driving me nuts.
You're never gonna get it. You're gonna have to like catch this train.
Catching a train, hey.
All you literally have to do is just like wait for the train to come back around. And
I will never do that.
I know, and neither would I. That's why I'm pointing it out, because it goes against all of our instincts.
I'm like falling off the edge of the stage just to try and get this stupid train.
Oh my god, you really should have gotten it that time. Like the game you got
robbed.
What
the hell?
Oh, what? No, you're so close. Oh my god, this is so sad. This is the human tragedy playing out before us. Terrible detail.
The Knuckles tragedy.
The Knuckles tragedy. Oh my... No, you should have gotten it. Oh. This is awful. This is awful, and I love it. Continue down this dark path.
I still don't know, like, why did they screw up these sections?
Oh, you got it. You're good.
You got it.
Like, these sections were better in the first game.
Yeah,
no, right? We're just talking about that. Oh, it's so wrong. It's so wrong. All right.
Frank
It
Shank.
is now 12:44. I should go to bed.
Yeah,
I'm
I think
tired.
that's accurate.
Uh,
All right. Goggles, like, dude, you gotta get a Discord somehow, and you gotta like join our.
you gotta be on like every stream now.
Yeah, because
Evidently.
you're fucking hilarious, and like we need more of that in our lives.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you guys once again. I'm glad, Fanboy, you came back here at the end.
Thank
the
you for having
finale.
me.
I was back for the finale.
I always
Yeah, there you go.
enjoyed to contribute to your website one way or another.
Okay.
Even though like secretly in my darkest heart, I sort of credit myself for the existence of your website because I asked somebody explain Ansem for me.
Yes. Yeah, it's still a factor.
You're more responsible than most.
Yes. Yeah, you're definitely a factor. Don't worry.
That's one of my favorite posts of all time. Just where like you explained like the 14 Ansems.
Yeah.
And like,
I think that
was
might
like,
not even be all of them at this point.
That's who Ansem was. And the crazy thing is, I only played the first Kingdom Hearts and the second Kingdom Hearts, so I assumed that was where the Ansem stopped. I had no idea. It was
God, yeah, no.
You had no idea that Kingdom Hearts 3D's entire plot was how he wanted to make 13 more.
It's all he wants is just to have like a little baseball team of himself.
I know that Kingdom Hearts 3 has been announced, but like, is it literally we're gonna have 13 Ansems?
That was 3D's plot, and he's still working on that.
Oh, so it's a work in progress then.
And
He wanted to make Sora an Ansem.
for Kingdom Hearts 3 being like obviously a big release. I mean, it's been like 11 billion years since Kingdom Hearts 2. The like one storyline trailer that exists is literally young Ansem playing chess with young Luke Skywalker. Not the real Luke Skywalker, but just a guy voiced by Luke Skywalker.
Or Camel.
And it's just like, this is where we're going?
Disney owns Star Wars now, so I wouldn't be surprised for a young Luke Skywalker to show up.
I'm still really disappointed that they had to, like, that Leonard Nimoy died, because him as voice actor for Xehanort in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep is amazing, because he's just a horrible cackling goblin the entire time.
He sounds
and everyone...
Like,
he's so good at it.
And the funny thing was, and again, like, I'm saying this with the most like reverence I can say it, but for a character that is supposed to be like, the whole point of Xehanort in that is that like he's an old man like on the edge looking to move on to a younger body. He sounds like such an angry old man the entire time. Like, it completely sells me on like every moment of Xehanort's life is pain, and he's like, I gotta get a new body right now. He's like,
I also just love that, like, Birth by Sleep was the point where Square felt that they needed to, like, okay, we made Disney a special magical wizard man, and it's the guy from the Sorcerer's Apprentice. So now Square needs one, and it looks like Hironobu Sakaguchi.
Yeah. And his name is just Square rearranged. It's Ericus.
Yeah, he's Ericus, as opposed to Yen Sid, who's just Disney backwards.
Yeah. And you will note that Ericus is voiced by Luke
inherited.
Skywalker.
That is amazing. I'm reminded of like what you said about Leonard Nimoy. Anecdote actually about my Hank Gaz, who was in Fiddler on the Roof and also Captain Murphy in Sea Lab, which is a very
There go my
very
nipples
no,
again.
like, dude was a legend. But like somebody like asked him once, this is like an anecdote I've heard told by several different people about like what it meant to him, like being both both a legendary actor and also the guy in a ridiculous recut of Sea Lab 2020 footage. And he just responded that to him, acting was acting, and if you're going to do anything, you're going to do it right, damn it. And like how much it meant to, how important it was to him that he put his all into everything, even if he was pretending to be an old crazy captain getting crushed by a vending machine.
That was easily the best thing that show ever produced, just because it was 15 minutes of him being insane.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. And they asked, like, apparently, like when he was recording that one, they said, okay, you gotta put more pain into your voice. This guy has all of his ribs cracked, And he said, "Well, I'm really sorry. I was playing football with my grandkids, and I think they actually broke some of my ribs, so I can't, get the voice out there." So his excuse for not sounding like
Sounding
he had
in
his
pain
ribs
enough, at least
cracked
he was in actual pain.
was that he actually had his ribs cracked, and that meant that he could not portray having his ribs cracked as well as he would have liked to.
God.
That's dedication. That's incredible dedication.
Love that, man.
And on that note, I think we're going to close out here.
All right,
So
awesome.
I'm just going to
See ya.
disconnect here.